So it's a very special Wednesday because it's the 2nd of the 2nd, 2022, which not only is this a major portal opening, isn't it, Janine, but it's also two of my friends, Mel and Phil's birthday. So happy birthday, Mel and Phil.
Right on.
So it's a special day, isn't it? And doesn't it feel like it?
It's my dad's birthday too.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Janine's dad. How
Yeah.
Yeah, what a lovely day to have a birthday. So happy birthday to everyone who's got birthdays here. Well, I don't know about you, Janine, but I am feeling incredibly positive and upbeat. How are you feeling? Because obviously Canada has been so much in the news. In fact, it's probably Canada and the UK, a lot of the news at the moment.
Yeah, I feel really good. I feel like we're over the worst part of this. I mean, you got people saying, okay, there's really bad things coming and blah, 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 and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Maybe technically some things will be hard, but at least knowing that we've got this and that we're getting rid of all of this demonic stuff and our systems are crumbling and all of that makes me really happy, because that means we're not going back to the old way of sleepiness and not being aware of what's being done to us. To me, that's brilliant. So the hard work part, that'll be a cinch compared to taking down what's been taken down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I know you've just published something on your tarot bar, Janine, about looking at a February reading. So without giving too much away so that everyone can go and watch that if they haven't already, but you're smiling, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's good. Details, it's looking good, isn't it?
It was looking good. Yeah, I was really surprised, actually. It's looking like the biggest news, the universe. Now, don't forget, the universe is different than humans. Yeah. Human energy has an ego, and our ego wants certain things. But the spirit world thinks of different things are important, it seems, to the spirit world. So what the spirit world said was the biggest bravo that's happening for the human race in February is that we're coming together and finding unity, which was exactly the opposite of what the globalists were looking for. So the whole thing that's going on all over the world was trying to separate, segregate, pit people against each other. The exact opposite happened. And it's really showing itself in Canada with that, like the people that are coming out in, honoring the truckers and feeding them, and the people for the truckers, and how many people are getting on board. JP Spears did that really funny. I just shared it everywhere. I mean, he summed it up perfectly. It's like even politicians are coming out on behalf of the truckers. And of course, US, and I bet the UK might be having the negative slant. Let me know what they're saying in the UK, because the US is sort of the more officialdom news, which I don't know who listens to anymore. But they're taking them down and going down the route of these guys are thugs and racists and silly things like that, which is the exact opposite.
I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, it's been conspicuous by its absence, but obviously I'm probably not the best person to judge because I don't watch it, but I always have a flick through the headlines to make sure I at least know what's being said. I think the main thing that they're saying is they're getting the purpose of it. So they're calling them anti-vax, which of course they're not.
No, they're not.
So it's this slant, and people think as soon as you label it like that, then the vast majority of people will just credit them, which of course a lot of the public do. But so my first question for the cards is a little bit along the line of what people are going to see when they go to your latest reading on February. Is we've talked a lot about, there must be full disclosure, people must know everything that's going on. And I must say, on a personal level, I'm moving away a bit from that, even though I do want to say told you so. But I'm just thinking that could drag the energy down. Whilst if we have something coming very soon that's going to be a really positive focus for people, that could shoot the planetary vibration up really, really quickly. So could we ask the cards whether, have we got something coming in February that is going to have that effect to shift the consciousness up really quickly?
Something going on in the background around our financial system. So something's built on a firm foundation. We're going back to a firmer financial, and because Pentacles, so finance, and we don't know about it yet. A lot of it's been done in secret. Interesting, because I'm getting emails from people who ask their bankers about it. They're saying, when does the new quantum gold and or metals backed, somebody literally asked their banker that, system get made public? And the guy looked really surprised and said, oh, you know about that? And the person said, yeah, I know about it. And they said, well, we're just waiting for the word.
Wow.
We're on standby and we're waiting for the word. That's very similar to other emails I've gotten from the US people in particular who've asked that. And even myself, when I asked my banker some months ago.
Okay, I'm going to have to. I don't really have a bank manager, but someone in the UK must have a bank manager that they speak to. So please ask. Yeah,
I'm sure they're sworn to secrecy or whatever, but if you know already, they could probably discuss it, and or some of them will yay or nay it or whatever they'll do, but they probably signed non-disclosures or whatever that thing is that they signed. So something about the finances. Also, there's some deals going to be struck, public deals with people's governments where they're like, they get the pressure that they have to back off on things that they've been doing. So deals are going to be struck, and that might have something to do with what's going on in Ottawa. I mean, they're still waiting to even, all they're doing is calling them names, and nobody's officially spoken to all of those truckers. They're just demanding they leave. And of course, they're not going to leave until they get to talk to somebody and get some things done. They didn't come all the way, and put their whole life on hold to just leave again. I mean, that would be silly. Okay, so there's going to be some new shifts and developments with conversations get open and new deals getting made here where we get these guys to stand down with their silliness. Do you know what I mean? So those are good things.
Brilliant. And they'll be all right soon, the truckers, because Trudeau's isolation periods from the COVID will be over soon. So he'll be coming out to have a discussion with them, I'm sure. Yeah, it's running out of excuses, really, isn't he? So
the two different so there was 2 days where he came out and spoke on, and they were two different Trudeaus. It was brilliant. The second guy wasn't even close to the first guy. Just have a look. He had a much wider face, unless all of a sudden he's getting dental work and his face is all blown up. I don't know. It made no sense. It's like, who is that guy?
It's absolutely hysterical. So yeah, I want to put on a blonde wig and do an announcement as Boris Johnson. So see if I get away from it. I'm sure I could do a good impression. Yeah. So the next one then is, I'm not sure what this is today or the last few days, but I've only just seen it, that the CNN boss, Jeff Zucker, has just resigned over an undisclosed relationship with a colleague. So can we ask the cards, is that a front? Is it for something much more serious that he's resigned?
Yeah, I just saw that too. No, it's the real reason's hidden. That's the real reason. And he made a deal. So he's made a deal in the background, I think with the alliance, and he's stepping down, and this is the time he's doing it. And a lot of them have done it. Every time we look at those kind of things, and this happened already. He made the deal back in June or something, because this is a early air sign card. So June, that's like Gemini, that's early air sign. I'm thinking he already made the deal quite a while ago. Now he's just doing his end of he's just keeping up his end. He's safely somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. So can we then do a follow-up question for that? So are we going to see CNN and therefore other major conventional news outlets suddenly start to change their narrative?
Oh, would that be refreshing? That would make my heart sing. I would be so excited. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's coming. So that looks like another thing we can look forward to. This card was actually in the reading I was doing on the February. So I didn't put it together that it was about mainstream. I just got things would drop really fast, but also narratives of mainstream. So this card all of a sudden shifts everything for the positive in so many different ways. The focus changes entirely, but I don't get they actually go down. I get they just change all of a sudden. Yeah. You're talking about something different. They got a new boss. They got the new bosses is actually telling them to say different things. And it's already been snuck in there. I see it already happening. All of this is just playing itself out. And that's another thing I got on the February read. I got that the universe knows what it's doing and the timing is perfect on this. Yeah. And even if there's humans in the background doing some of this, if that is true, which I believe it is, I believe they're being guided spiritually. And that's always when I get that hermit card, there's higher knowledge guiding here. And this is all happening because we need it to happen the way it's happening, or we'd be not out of this for real. We need to do it this way to get ourselves out of this demonic possession we've been in.
Oh my God, yeah, just a bit. So now, God, I've got so many questions. Okay, let's start with this one. In the UK, it's been widely sort of spread all over the world that we have dropped the mandatory for healthcare staff. However, that's not quite true, because what they've said is that they won't hold them to the 1st of February deadline, and there's going to be an urgent review of it. So they haven't actually officially dropped it, but they're not holding them to. So can we ask the cards whether they are going to drop it? Because it's amazing how many people have reported that it has actually been dropped. And when you read the small print, that's not what they've said at all yet.
So sneaky, hey?
So sneaky.
Okay, so that was all put out there. Like, this is a huge psychological examination of the human race. Yeah, I know people won't like that, but that's true. We're being watched entirely on our responses to things. So they're waiting to see how people respond, and according to those responses, things shift and move. And I'm thinking that's the shadow government watching to see how are you taking that and how are you reacting to that? Because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense that they put out there. And I think they're just testing to see how many people are going to speak up about this, how many people are going to yell about this, how many people are even going to notice. So we never get fooled again by that small print. Right. So they're getting people like you to notice. So sharing things like that and pointing it out in your post is really important. And I've seen a lot of people doing that, and keep it up, everybody. We need to share those things. Everything I get that I think is important, I share it on all my social medias, and I think it's really important. And I don't even care. Like, if somebody's going to take me down, I'm doing it until I can't do it anymore. Like, I'm just sharing, because that's the only way to get it out there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's amazing, though, how many times people on both sides are still sharing stuff without any sort of checks or anything. And I did the same. So I got sent something just before I did a live about the Spotify, the Joe Rogan and the musicians were drawing the Spotify, but the person sent me something which was completely the wrong way round. And because I got it literally just as I was going live, and so I then said something that was completely wrong, the wrong way round. Like, instead of saying, don't support these musicians who are trying to force Spotify to take Joe Rogan off. And it's really, really important now, I think, that people do actually, before they share things, take the time to read it and make sure that they're not passing on misinformation to the best of their ability, because unfortunately that sets us back quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. So can we ask the cards? I've had a few people from Africa. Now, obviously, Africa's a huge page, but can we do a general reading on where Africa are with this whole ridiculous situation? Because there's still a lot of mandates in place in various places.
Yeah. So we've got this, so unity and coming together against the mandates is their only hope right now. That's the biggest thing they got to do, is come together, get something going, and that's white Africans, Black Africans, all the African, everybody who calls himself an African, South Africans, all the Africans, everybody needs to get together and come together in some kind of, they need a unifying force, because that's what I think it's a psyop, that the bad guys are still in control all over the world, but that's what they need to see to get this thing to step down. Okay, and it'll step down really fast once they see some coming together, and it looks like that is happening in some places. Okay, so they've had some victories there, some victories. So there needs to be a coming together and a unifying, the exact opposite of course, what all along that country, and I know it's a huge country, but they've been trying to pit them against each other in so many ways, right?
Yeah.
Things will get a lot better fast if they can do that. So if they can show things are coming together, and it looks to me like that's going to happen, but it could be just taking a little longer. So they're going to need something like what those truckers are doing, like where everybody just goes across the board. Let's fight this with our governments. They've had little patches of it though, good successes.
Yeah. So, okay, thank you. Come on, Africa, we need you badly. So, yeah. Right, in the UK, there is currently, but very much, they haven't publicised it because they don't want anyone to know about it. Our human rights documentation and legislation is currently under review, but of course they haven't publicised it, so most people don't know that they can even comment on it. And it's got some really, really concerning things in there, where basically they're taking away the individual's rights and putting, under the proposed new reforms of the legislation, our parliament will impose itself as arbitrator as to when an individual is entitled to have human rights and when they're not, and when it should be for the greater good of society.
Oh my goodness.
Some really awful things in there. So there's a brilliant organisation here called Lawyers of Light that are publicising this and trying to get as many people as possible to comment and object. So I've put all that on my Telegram, and Lawyers of Light, most people in the UK know how to get hold of them. Can we ask what's going to happen with this human rights review? Because
the whole thing was designed to wake up. So this card's like the magician. So they're just throwing it out there again. They want people to notice. They want you to go, oh my goodness, we're getting hoodwinked again. They want those lawyers of light to like create themselves into a group and speak up about it and like that. So the whole thing looks like it gets, so surrender to unnecessary worrying, all of that steps aside. Like there's a whole bunch of things being passed that I don't think are going to hold in the coming weeks, months. Let's hope it's days. A whole bunch of things. So the world. So we're going to come through a gateway with that. And a lot of that is unnecessary. Surrender to, it's necessary to get people up in arms about it so they'll notice. This is unnecessary stressing and worrying. Surrender to, that's necessary. We need people to go, okay, we can't have that happen. Okay, because in the past, people wouldn't have noticed or been looking for that. And yet one more thing would have been taken away. This is what's been going on. So they're putting it more in plain sight, so you'll notice and yell about it. Yeah, I mean, this part's the outcome.
It's only our community that would know about it. No one knew. So this leads me on to the next question then. So I've had a lot of poor people in Wales who are very, very despondent. Yeah. They're saying it's just in Wales. Personally, I'm seeing it a lot in England as well, that even though a lot of the regulations, like wearing these face nappies and things, have been lifted, people are still wearing them, they're still keeping away, they're still keeping themselves locked away and everything. So I've had a couple of people from Wales saying, why on earth are the Welsh not waking up more? What on earth is wrong with them?
Yeah, they've just been so beaten down by the psyop of the whole illness. Like they think they're doing something. So they've been told that, and this could have something to do with the psyche of that nation of people. They've been told that they're doing, like they have to do that for the good of others, right? So it's like they think they're following their heart or doing something from their heart, when in fact it's been a bit like they've just been manipulated, altered, like it's like mass MK altering that's been going on. I don't think it's short of that. And they're just slower to getting it. They're trying to be good. They're trying to be good people. And that this guy always wants to do the right thing. He's patient and persevering and shoulders a lot. But it's like it's unfortunate because it's just a pocket of people that think they're doing the right thing. So the more people that live there that just waltz in the store without, and if anyone gives them grief, have a little speech ready that says, okay, you didn't get the memo. Like everything's being exposed. This is being exposed as for what it really is. So wake up there. Like you just say it really nicely and then carry on. Just carry on. And if they keep bugging you, just keep telling them all the stuff you know. Pretty soon they'll either get lost or they'll take theirs off too. Yeah. One of those things, right? So if just one person does that. So I've been doing that in this one particular grocery store. And I swear every time I go in there, more people have it off. And maybe I'm delusional, but I think it might have something to do with me doing it. Because when I was still wearing one and other people had theirs off, it would make me take mine off. I'd be like emboldened to take mine off. So I really think that works. One wise person can rise the whole vibration of a place. So don't get discouraged. Just you be that one person, never mind about those sheeples, and bring a whole bunch of love in your heart chakra into the place and a lot of confidence. If you can do that, you are doing so much for the movement of freedom in the world, literally.
I have to laugh. Sorry, New Zealanders and Welsh, but of course, Wales and New Zealand is where the sheep come from. So the real sheep, the Baba sheep, the lovely sheep. So that could be a reason as well. Perhaps you've got too many real sheep around you. So I agree. And that's why I've been really supporting my lovely local shop down in Shamley Green, because right throughout the whole thing, right from the start, I've Woolstead, never worn any, nor of my family. And they've never said a thing. They've just happily served me. They're still taking cash. They're still doing everything. They've been wonderful. So yeah, it's really important to show your loyalty to those places.
Yeah.
Quite a few please for us to have a look at Austria, because Austria have now made the thing compulsory for all over 18s, and claiming that any protesters or people not wanting to do that are right-wing extremists. So what can the cards give hope to for Austria?
Yep, same thing. So they're waiting to see the unity and coming together, where people just stand up and say, you know what, you need crowd, like a large amount to do that, like what the truckers are doing. There's literally thousands and thousands, even millions. By the time things got counted in Ottawa, there were millions of people, okay, including the truckers. But like by the time you looked at the crowd there, so you need that kind of unity. You need that. So they're going to need their, to the degree of how many people there are in their population, you know what I mean? A certain percent just to stand up and go, okay, no way. Austria bent over, like lots of like Canadians did, bent over, and then they just snap and go, no way. We're not doing this one more second. This is absurd.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Peacefully, just to find a way to find a unique way that suits your community to just go, okay, end of that. Yeah, they're going to need to get maybe a petition together to get rid of somebody in particular is really holding things up there. Some politician that absolutely, so that needs to be outed about this guy. He's really, really dark culty, deep statey, and that guy needs to get really called out. Like what we're doing that with Trudeau. Like there's no holes barred on the information about who Trudeau really is. And it's everybody who posts about it's just, I've never seen anything like it. Just non-stop.
Some of the cartoons are just brilliant. My favorite ones when they're out jogging and then a truck comes along. It's just, we watched that quite a few times. Yeah.
They need to just yell more, yell louder, and get together, honk your horns, and or where you can't be ignored. It's just a matter of time there, just like everywhere is a matter of time, because what's happening in different places is really going to help speed things up. It emboldened, I think, the Canadians a lot, even if some of those things were false about the UK dropping theirs, just those words, I think were really, that was very successful, because people went, what? Okay, we got to get on board here.
Yeah, absolutely. They're like, that people don't want to be, they're like, what, if they can do it, why can't we? Come on now. Yeah, so I think, right, even if it's not.
Oh, yeah. And I get another thing this might be saying, lawsuits, bring lawsuits against individual people. When you start doing that, individuals, find out how you can individually get to the politicians to hold them responsible for people's passing over and et cetera, because of their what they're doing. When you start
nail on the head, Janine, because the UK have done so well. Mark and then the guy, his team and everyone that we can't talk about because it will get us banned. But he, you know, they really have almost, apart from Rainer Fulmich's team, obviously, they've really led the way, I think, in a lot of those prosecutions. And I think we're starting to see the results of that now.
Yeah, and it's a lot of legwork, but and I know there's probably already things going on there, but that's what's going to really, really help it look like.
Oh, yes. I mean, the absolute sort of individual level effort that some people have put into this, like Rainer Fulmich's team, like Mark's team, is just absolutely phenomenal. And it's really been sort of hung, drawn and quartered because of it. And oh my God, they're amazing. So, wow. Now we're on some good news. I mean, we spoke about this briefly last week, but the shit's really hit the fan in the UK. So we've got Partygate with all our politicians obviously being naughty and having parties, which is all a big red herring, obviously. Now, Boris Johnson, I actually listened to his speech, and it was, well, whoever the Boris Johnson is, was amazing, because he called out live on television in Parliament that the opposition Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, had failed to prosecute Jimmy Savile when he was director of the public prosecutions years ago. And then he was asked to retract, because in the silly schoolboy things, they get asked to retract it, and he wouldn't, and he's since stood by it. And then Michael Gove and some other prominent ministers have come up and stood by it as well. And it's caused chaos on breakfast TV and things like this, because the interviewer's like, you must retract it. And it's like, no, I'm not. So this, I think, is really, really significant. So can we ask the cards what the significance of this is? Because this is a level that we really haven't seen before of calling this behaviour out.
Like, why on earth would that be shocking, to call out the behaviour of someone who did what he did to corpses, did what he did to innocents? We'll just say that.
Well, they won't.
Why on earth is that shocking?
That's not what they were calling out. They were calling out that the Labour leader, the head of the Labour Party, the opposition to Boris Johnson, he was director of public prosecutions, and he didn't take the Savile case because apparently insufficient evidence. So it's more about his role and exposing about why he had, implying that he'd covered up or bodged it up, which obviously he did. But for this, there's something really deep in this, Janine, because that is really huge that they've said that.
It's the uncovering of that deep, dark secret, leading back to what I said, right? What really was going on. So if you're covering up for someone or not representing a case properly or whatever, you're deleting people away from it or whatever you're doing, okay, who was capable of the things we know that guy was doing. Okay, so it's a way to bring that to the public. So this is another thing I got. So this is about innocence. So we're going to say that, and people's offspring. Okay, so and energies that horrific people do to those innocents. We'll just say that. Got to be so careful. But that is the whole thing. Is that's the next thing that has to come clear now. So okay, I believe the mandate part's going to go down in February. This is what I got for the most part all over the world. Okay, it would be impossible to keep up the charade. Like it's almost it's a joke. It's a joke. And I'm going to start thinking that way. And if everybody gets on board and starts imagining and thinking that, everybody who's watching this for a few minutes every day, I'm telling you, we'll go a long way to having it happen. Don't believe it's impossible. Believe it's possible, because your intention and vision is going to help. So that's why I talk in those big sweeping ways and just assume the most positive vision of something, because that's what works. Okay. I've been doing it my whole life. I know it works. Okay. And if we all get on board, we'll be so powerful. This is just the people awake watching videos like this. We could change the whole world, you guys. But anyway, so the next thing to happen is this has to come to everybody's attention. So the whole thing with what they're doing with the underground and undercovered and covering up of what those elites have been doing, politicians and royal families.
It's exactly the same time, Janine, as Prince Andrew is really in the news, and they haven't even got on to anyone else in the royal family yet, because at the moment it's focused on. So does that imply, so to me, I might be putting two and two together, make fun, but the fact that Boris Johnson and some of his team have now publicly live on television said this, I mean, that was no accident. That would imply to me that Boris Johnson is innocent of those crimes.
Yeah, I think you're right. And don't forget, I get that he was on the bad guy's side, or maybe he was on the good guy's side, taken onto the bad guy's side. I don't know where he started out, but he's been back and forth. And I think he's right now, his image anyway, who they say is him, is puppeted by the good guys. Okay, so they put that in his what he was to say. I believe that because he's getting messages. He's saying things right on cue. So the desire was, that's a desire card, that this starts the ball rolling to get this out there. And they got a whole bunch of mountain of, because this is like, this is a dominoes effect kind of card. A whole bunch more information's coming out where that came from. You better believe it. This is going to be the start of, they're starting that dominoes effect to happen around those kind of things, which we just can't ignore anymore. You can't keep, that's a huge part of this whole thing. The whole globalist agenda thing is to cover up for what they've been up to in the background. It's like how they make their money, what they've been up to, what they think of humans.
Absolutely. It was, it was the first time I've really watched that. Oh my God, I was just like, my jaw just dropped open. I was like, yes. I can't believe he said that. So on another note, Pfizer have got the FDA, Pfizer and the FDA got the Court of Appeal apparently have, let me get this right. So they were scheduled to release their documents about a lot of the side effects and everything, and they've actually delayed it again, apparently. Now, I haven't checked whether anything else has happened today. I couldn't find anything, so people in the comments will let us know. But there's so much coming out now from Raina Fullmix's team, from Catherine Oster-Fitz, from all sorts of people, from even the UK data, even the UK Office of National Statistics, which is our official government-run statistics thing, have released the findings on the number of 10 to 19-year-olds, about how many have died more than normal. So what is shocking revelations that can't be denied are coming. Yeah. Look at that. A judgment, so it'll create a whole lot of, like, if this is going to wake up a whole bunch of sleepers who have kids, okay, because or they've pushed it on their relatives, or they've been somehow influencing people and blah blah on their Facebook about you're a loser if you're not on board with that
experimental thing, right? So this is going to shock people. There's things coming out that'll be so shocking. That's going to be a big part of, the shock.
I've met lots of sort of extended family members on both sides. My husband's this week, and they all think people like us who haven't done it are absolutely terrible and to blame for everything, you know. So, but the statistics that are coming out now about the increase in deaths of the youngsters is absolutely shocking. And as of this week, they're now rolling it out to vulnerable 5 to 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
So it's got to come quick, this disclosure. It's got to come quick. So can we ask what is happening with, unless you've done this somewhere else that I haven't seen, what is happening with Putin? What is he playing at? What is going on?
I haven't looked at Putin for a while.
I'm quite fascinated, actually. I want to find out more, which might be worrying. I need treatment.
I do find him fascinating.
Really fascinating.
So just once again,
absolutely hates him. So
that's a whole different guy.
Yeah,
so it's not, the bad guy was taken out quite a while ago. We got a whole different guy, and he's working for the good guys. And whatever he's doing, there's a secret reason why. So it's a covert operation. So he's in covert operation from their little safe place in Russia there that, you know what I mean? They keep really isolated, and it's interesting. Like, you don't even see them on big world statistics. When I look on, Russia doesn't even come onto this. They don't even have the statistics from Russia around who's dying of what and whatever. Yeah, it's fascinating. So they keep everything really secretive over there. So they're looking from this perspective, but they're actually working. He's working with the good guys or his team or whoever they say is him.
Yeah.
He's not the original Putin, even.
Oh no, absolutely not. Yeah,
this guy's working with the good guys for a long time. It's really interesting. So he's like maybe just throwing things out there when they think they need that distraction and or the psyop that maybe he's going to help create.
Yeah, I mean, just literally the whole thing is such a psyop. I'm just like, oh, what is it? What is it? What are they showing? Sort of thing. Oh my goodness. Right. Now, Rainer Fulmick's team, I'm going to have to be very careful. I've got so many stats on it, but I can't even really use code words for most of this. But obviously he's been investigating this for nearly 2 years now. He's interviewed so many experts from so many different parts of the world in all different things. And he's come to a very firm conclusion. His team, him and his big team, have come to a very firm conclusion that the whole of this agenda is to massively, let's just say, achieve some of the Georgia Guidestone objectives. So they want a lot of us humans gone. And I think it's quite incredible when you look at some of his bullet points of, and I would encourage everyone to do that. You can find a lot of his stuff on the Telegram channels, Rumble, BitChute. But when you look at this and when you see how many people have got the data about how, you know, really there's no way this can be accidental, that the big companies have definitely had a very definitive plan that they've been running out. Now, is this going to come to light very soon? Are normal people going to start believing his findings? Because it's going to be very difficult. I mean, I know we've covered it a bit with the other question, but this is much bigger than that. This is deliberate. Yeah.
So it started out a well-kept secret, and it has everything to do with large amounts of money. So they believe they're going to, I don't know, acquire everybody's land and property, and I don't know, but be like incredibly rich because of it. Okay. So that was the reason that they kept it a secret. So yes, those guys some of them are in on it and some of them aren't. So some companies might even be inner fighting once they some of the upper employees found out what these guys were up to. So there's inner fighting amongst the companies. Some of them even stepped down before it was even started. So we did get that. Yeah, a lot of times, but there's like about half and half. So some of them are on board and some of them aren't. Some of parts of the company are on board and some of them. So we still got some dark cult agenda going on. But that agenda was absolutely what you said was true. Yeah. Yeah. So we got that big ace that was right in the middle. I hadn't even seen this card yet. So yes, what you said, that was the Georgia Guidestone objective and or vision of the world was what they were after. Yeah. And they were doing it because they were all assured they'd be wealthy because of it. But a lot of their own people aren't on board. And some of the companies might have even stepped back before so there was a lot of fighting about it, right? Because like you can't just get everybody on board. There's some actual humans with hearts out there.
Absolutely.
Who aren't going to be okay with that. They're not going to be okay. Yeah. So also this is saying there's a big agenda right now to this is my good positive army card. So I'm thinking white hats. I'm thinking they got really clamped down on. So I think it's way less than, and it won't do the damage that to the numbers they've been looking for, right? So the whole thing isn't going to work out. It's not going to work out, but there's maybe a 40% of what they wanted to, or yeah. So it'll work out to a percentage. I don't know what exact percent, but less. They're going to be sad about whoever they are that decided that they needed to do this, depopulate the earth. It's not going to work out. A little part of it worked, and you're going to see those passings over, absolutely. But a whole lot of it got even shut down before it even got started. And so this didn't work anywhere near, just like the original lockdown, sort of the illness that they let loose out of that lab. Okay, that also was booby trapped and or just never worked nearly like they wanted it to. They didn't take into consideration vitamin D count in people. Vitamin D, when you have a higher vitamin D, and a lot of their probably when they looked into how are they going to do this, take all of these people, have them just go down with that illness. They didn't take that into account. And somebody really smart figured that out, and I won't say his name on. But so vitamin D, but they probably did a lot of things looking at people from a certain culture that don't have a lot of vitamin D. So they thought, oh, everybody's just going to go down, and it didn't happen because we're smart, we're smart enough to take vitamin D and or have it in our food, and or we got more sunshine where we are, and we do go out in the sun. Okay, I know Calgarians, the sun shines, no matter if it's 30 below, we're outside, like basking in the sun, for short amounts of time and 30 below, but we got a real sunny place here. We get a lot of sunshine. We probably got a lot of vitamin D. Do you know what I mean? So it didn't work. So their plans have been sabotaged, booby trapped, and not working. Okay, but it was the plan, what you said.
Yeah. So final question for me. I've had so many people this week from the UK ask this question, and I agree with them. So recently, and for me, it's since they've, the timings might be a bit off, but it seems a bit of a coincidence that they announced that they're letting, rolling back all the restrictions, or most of them in the UK. And at the same time, we have had a ridiculous number of chemtrails over the UK. I mean, everyone is seeing them gone mad. So can we ask the cards what's going on about that? Because it seems rather suspicious to me that.
Okay, this is interesting. So the chemtrails have been swapped from bad to good a long time ago. So we've got the Wheel of Fortune here. So they've been switched. Okay, they went from one to the other. In the past, they were getting away with chemtrails. Nobody even noticed. Nobody even hardly talked about it, but they've been doing it for years. That's a big way they've been poisoning us. I think all of it was to attract attention to chemtrails and for everybody to start looking into. And so whatever they're spraying around there does not look like it's to deteriorate your health. Okay, it might even be helpful to you. So how do you like that? Yeah, it's to the positive. Okay, so but I think they want you to notice the chemtrails. Okay, so we never let those things happen again. We look into it, we go, what are those? Who's doing that? We need to stop this. You know what I mean? Like a lot of this is to draw attention to what we've been ignoring and letting pass because we're too lazy to look into it. Not people watching. I'm not saying people watching. I'm just saying in general as a human race.
Yeah.
The stuff that they've gotten away with, and no wonder they think we're a bunch of foolish. You know what I mean? Because we've been just.
Oh, completely. It just, can't be bothered, haven't got time. In fact, the Lloyds of Light, the people I would talk about ages at the halfway through, they're an amazing organisation, and they got quite cross actually because there's huge legislations coming through, and then everyone's going back to me. It is quite complicated, in fairness, for a lay person to look at, and where the link that you click on where you can object to it, a lot of the questions are worded in a way that a normal person would struggle to answer. But they got annoyed because immediately everyone was bombarded with their give us some model answers. They're like, you haven't even read it yet and you're expecting us to provide you with the answers. You've got to stop this behaviour. At least put some effort in first, and then if you need a bit of help, ask for it. But don't stop expecting everyone else to do this for you.
Yeah. I think we're all going to evolve that way, where we're just going to use our minds and intelligence, common sense. And that there might be people in place that are really good at deciphering that kind of language, and they'll be putting it in layman terms for other people. Like people with your skills will jump on board. Like I'm pretty good at taking, I think, the complex sort of chess game. And even I might, who knows, I might be getting it all wrong, but I feel like I'm getting it right. But what my talent is bringing it down to layman terms, and let's just figure this out with some common sense. So I wouldn't be able to read that, but somebody else, I could find somebody who could, or do some cards on it. Okay, what's this saying to me? I do my cards on everything. Yeah. So I would do cards on, okay, should I say yes or no to this? Oh, yes. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of funny. So I use tools, but we'll find the tools to do it. So we can't use the excuse that we don't understand that. Find somebody who does, find the tools, and people get on board who have talent in that area.
Yeah, and then you give
help us. Yeah.
And in return, you give something back to.
Absolutely. Everybody just share stuff, right? Like I'll share what I'm good at, but I'm not good at a whole bunch of other things. Somebody else can do that.
Exactly. Well, everyone, let us know below what your week's like. Let us know all the good things. I'm really hoping this week, and people are pretty good on our channels anyway, but what I'm really hoping this week is people are going to be sharing the wins that they're noticing, the good things that they're noticing, because the more we all do that, the quicker they're going to flow without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Janine. Have you got anything exciting planned for this week? You were going to take a bit of a break. Did you manage to take one?
No, but I'm manifesting. So I went shopping and I got a couple of outfits for my Mexico trip.
Oh, lovely.
Because I'm determined, and I wore one of them on my show today. I'm determined to get myself to Mexico. I'm going to fly to Mexico, even though I don't have any kind of pass, because they're going to drop that, okay, real quick here. So that is my vision, intention, and what I'm putting out there. It becomes true when you all get on board and visualize and assume that. Right? That's how the world works. The real magic here is your own vision, intention, what you speak about, and then take action. So the action I took was I went shopping, really excited about my trip to Mexico. Okay. I haven't booked it yet. I can't yet right this second, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. So that's how I manifest things. I've done it my whole life. Highly recommend the practice, people.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because generally speaking, I haven't got the desire to travel much at the moment because I love it where we are and I'm looking after all my animals. But I've been out to do work with the elephant orphanage in Zambia, and I was just thinking, then today they sent me loads of videos to review because I helped them out with the natural remedies for them. And I thought, that's fine. I think I'm going to Zambia again this year to help with the elephants. So I'm pretty sure I will be, actually. So how exciting. You'll be doing videos from there, and I probably won't be doing them for Zambia because there's virtually no internet, but I think that's getting better. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Have a really, really wonderful week, and let us know in the comments